You know, I'm very glad that Terry Crews went on Club Shay Shay. Now, I was a pretty big Terry Crews fan whenever I first seen him on Everybody Hates Chris. Now, I do remember him in, what was it, Friday After Next. I do remember him in Training Day. But what made him stand out to me in my head was him playing Julius in Everybody Hates Chris. He was a great sitcom dad that, you know, there are plenty of memes about that still live on to this very day. But at the end of the day, you saw a hardworking black man that loved his family, that did what he needed to make sure not only they survived, but thrive for the most part. Because, you know, things are hard. So then he opened his mouth. You know, he had personal conversations out in the public that just didn't make sense to say. That seems like something you would vent or say to your wife or best friend, not to be venting on the internet about, you know, Gabrielle Union, women's rights, and all this other kind of stuff. Which he did apologize for, and I think that was pretty cool and stand up for him to do. But that interview made him appear very, very humble and gracious, and it gives credence to how much of a hard worker he is. And it made me gain a lot of respect for him again. Now, I still remember whenever the first allegations, or not allegations, when he first said he was Me Too'd, and people were clowning him and all this other kind of stuff. And, you know, I didn't necessarily clown him. I had that same thought process of, you know, you're like a 6'+ muscular guy. Why would you let another man fill you up? Again, apparently this is a normal thing in this entertainment area. It doesn't matter if it's music or Hollywood. If you're big and black or famous and black, you're seen as a piece of meat. I'm just curious if, you know, Denzel Washington is going to write a memoir about the things he's been through, and if he has been approached in that manner. But back to the interview. It really did, to me, make him seem like he was very hardworking, very humble, very gracious, and he helped support Katt Williams casually. I think I put the clip in here somewhere where he said that, you know, Katt was actually homeless whenever we did Friday After Next.
Me and Katt was homeless at the time.
Wow.
So Katt was living in his trailer.
This is like Steve Harvey telling people he used to be homeless. That's my story. That's not his story. Steve Harvey was never homeless.
And I think that's really great, because Katt said he was homeless. You know, he said he was homeless, he worked himself up. But he never mentioned how he was homeless again when he was working on Friday After Next. At least I haven't seen that. And Terry also said something that I heard plenty of times, that, you know, you never know who's watching. He was obviously watching Katt Williams and seeing what he was doing and how hard he was working. People was watching Terry Crews and saw how hard he was working. And you see how both of them have risen up. Yes, Terry stayed in more of the traditional Hollywood area. However, Katt made his on the more, I won't say underground, it's the more grassroots area of Hollywood entertainment. So, him giving praise to Katt Williams really does show how humble and hardworking Katt Williams really is. And, you know, he could have told more about himself in his situation, but he stays humble. And I really respect that about him and Terry. And I really liked how he respected and showed how much love and praise he had for his wife. And that's the thing that I think people don't appreciate nowadays, that when it comes to long-term relationships and especially marriages, I have not met a married couple that have done something that would be considered irredeemable to another person. Whether it's cheating, hitting, drugs, you see it all. However, if you take those vows with that other person, for better or for worse, or death do you part, and you truly do mean it, and you live for that other person, they live for you, y'all can work through it. Now, Terry said that he worked through it, and, you know, he, well, I don't think he said he had to cheat on her again, but he told her that, you know, he cheated, he admitted his wrongs, and they worked through it. And that's great. And I also like the fact how he advocated for therapy. You know, he, Again, that was a long interview. All Club Shay Shay interviews are very long, so maybe I misheard it a little bit. I know he said that he was in therapy, how he did therapy. I'm not sure if he said that, you know, black men should go through therapy, but, you know, black men really should go through therapy. I mean, let's be real here. Well, you're a black male, you go through so much that most people don't know. And it's like a side note story. I remember when the George Floyd thing happened, and I was at work. And I had one of my white coworkers. It was a white gay coworker. And he felt like he was discriminated against and talked down to by a black person because of the whole entire George Floyd situation that happened. He told me what happened, and I was like, you know what, Jay, I go through this almost every single day, so it's not that big of a deal. You can suck it up for this little time frame. It'll pass in about a month. And I hate to say it that way, but let's be real here. Anytime there was a especially in that time, back in that time frame, it seemed like a new black person was being murdered every month, and it just went from one person to another person to Ahmaud Arbery, and it's kept going and going and going. And I was just like, you'll be fine. And it was funny because I actually had a talk to by my supervisor at that time when I said that, and it was like, oh, do you ever feel like you're discriminated against here and all this other kind of stuff? And I told him the truth. I was like, yeah, I'm discriminated against here. But that's just life. We're in the South. I'm working in a Fortune 100 country, Fortune 500 company. Of course, I want to get discriminated against. Of course, I want to work twice as hard and not get none of the appreciation. Of course, if I give an answer, it's going to be questioned to see if I really know what I'm talking about. And that's just what it is. I could be the best, but I'd never be seen as the best unless I'm not even just 2 times better as the person who's next to me who may happen to be white. I gotta be 10 times better. But that's just what it is. So hard work, determination, focus, all those things that Terry Crews was talking about, that was a great thing, especially for younger black men to hear, because not all black men have an example of somebody to look up to or to tell those things to. And a lot of the times you can hear stuff from a woman. The woman in your life can be your mother or an aunt or grandma, and it just goes out one ear out the other, because a lot of times young men want to hear stuff from other men. That's just what it is. I'll give another example of this. I remember my ex, and she may get mad at me for telling this story, but I remember my ex. Me and her kids went to the park, and her son was learning how to ride a bike. And she was giving him some good instruction on what to do, right? And he just wasn't listening. So I talked to him, and I told him pretty much the same thing, just worded a little differently. And he listened, he did it with no problem. She got a little annoyed because, you know, she said, well, I said the same thing. And I was like, well, I get you may have said the same thing, but it's different when it comes from a man. Because young boys crave to be guided and mentored by men. Women can only do so much, just like I can only raise a girl so far. I'm going to need a woman's help somewhere in there eventually. That's why I've never been a fan of the statement of, you know, strong, independent female. We all need each other. Anyways, back to, I got off a little, just telling stories there. But back to the whole entire Terry Crews thing. He showed a lot of himself, a lot of vulnerability. And these are stories that I have heard throughout time. However, him pinning all together this one interview, showing his vulnerability, even getting a little emotional there, I thought that was pretty awesome. Because you see 2 big buff men who both play in the NFL, but yet they're not being super macho. They're still being masculine. They're being masculine in a different way, where it's like, hey, I'm here, I got you, this is good to talk about this. This feels good. You know, I got some reflection from this, especially say he maybe try to talk to his dad again. I don't know how he could do it. He's a better person than me. If I see a man, my father beat down my mom and then that's all she know even until her passing. I don't think I could ever forgive that personally. But yeah, this definitely made me have a different appreciation for Terry Crews, and that's just my short review or my thoughts on this. I hope you guys like it. In my sideline stories, you know, here or there. But tell me what you think. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm open to feedback. I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you very much.
It was me, Katt Williams, sitting next to each other in a little bitty room. And he was like, man, come on in, we got this. Because Tiny Lister didn't want to do, my good friend.
Yeah.
God bless his soul.
Yeah.
Tiny Lister didn't want to do the third one. And they said, we got a new character, a guy named Damon and the whole thing. I was like, and see, you got to understand too, I had nothing to lose.
Right.
Like when I say nothing to lose, I came in there like Craig and Day Day. It was me, Katt Williams, sitting next to each other. It was me, Katt Williams, sitting next to each other. It was me, Katt Williams, sitting next to each other in a little bitty room. And he was like, man, come on in, we got this. Because Tiny Lister didn't want to do, my good friend.
Yeah.
God bless his soul.
Yeah.
Tiny Lister didn't want to do the third one. And they said, we got a new character, a guy named Damon and the whole thing. I was like, and see, you got to understand too, I had nothing to lose.
Right.
Like when I say nothing to lose, I came in there like Craig and Day Day. Just the niggas I want to see, you know. Bro, I had nothing. I went back to Flint on them. I was like, this is where I came. These are the cats I knew.
Right.
And I came in there, man, and off the cube, everybody like, ah, they're like, oh. And then Katt came in and just the audition. And they said, you in. You in. And Friday after next. Listen, I saw Cube probably about a month ago. And I walked up to him, man. I said, dude, thank you. Thank you. I said, you have no idea how many careers you started just by giving us that shot.
Right.
A lot of people never, ever really give props what props is due. You know, because they're like, well, I didn't get that much money. But dude, that was my start.
Yep.
Well, listen, I was in a little bitty cubicle. Man, I was just thankful. I was walking around. And listen, and what was so crazy, and me and Katt said, hey, man, and I remember talking to Katt, I said, Katt, I said, we never get another opportunity. We got to make sure they remember us. I said, because we the two new cats in this whole thing. They know everybody else.
Right.
I said, but it's me and you. And remember, man, I was not going to let what happened in my football career happen to my entertainment career.
Man, I'm listening to you tell the story, T. And the way you telling the story, football never gave you the high